So my old hand-wired 6502's suddenly grown some instrumentation. What I've got here is a PCB that lets me use a Raspberry Pi Pico as an EEPROM. So over here I've got a socket with the pin out of a 27, well 32, 64. I had a few extra GPIO lines, so there's a few options there. But I'm using it as the 2732 in the hardwired 6502 PCB. So, well, it's not a PCB, is it? It's hand wired, so bearer board. So we've got a Pico, but because it's 3.3 volts, you need some level shifters, and then this drives just GPIOs over here with some code that looks at the address lines, goes and looks in its, well, flash in this case, and presents whatever is at that address on the data lines. And it does turn out to be fast enough to actually run on this board. This board's only running, I think, at either 1 or 2 meg. I've got a 4 meg crystal, but I divided by 2, I think. Can't quite remember, I had a look, but this is fast enough to do that. While it's running as well, quite nicely, I can get a trace of what's going on. So I can actually use this as a sort of in-circuit emulator type ROM emulator thing, a bit like the Dataman S3 and 4 from the 80s and 90s, which seem to command incredible prices on eBay at the moment. I had a look at getting one of those, but yeah, that wasn't going to happen. So back to the £4 Raspberry Pi Pico and a PCB. So I've got the Pico probe here. This is just a Pico acting as a programmer for this Pico over here. Underneath, now I've had to stand it off using loads and loads of IC sockets, which seems to work. It's a little bit delicate. Underneath there I've got this is the ROM socket, and that's where the Pico's emulating everything. In here is the 6502, and while I was getting the ROM emulator working, I actually made a little strip board adapter up so I could put the 6502 in a socket, which has then got basically a pin header down each side. And what I can do with that, once it's plugged into the socket for the 6502, is I can attach my logic analyzer. So these are all logic analyzer signals. It's a little bit redundant now because the emulator board now is working, I think, and I'll get that back in there, and I can use that to trace the execution of the code. So that's all gone quite well. I've also added over here a reset button. There you go. It didn't have a reset button originally, which is a bit surprising. I'm not sure how I reset it, probably by unplugging the power. I got fed up with that, so I added a reset button to it, so it's been updated. And next step is probably to extract the code from the EEPROM and do a full disassembly. I've done a partial disassembly of that, so I need to do that. Then I need to find some way of assembling it. I don't know at the moment whether to use an assembler or convert one that I recently wrote. I'm not really sure what I'll do on that. One reason for converting what I wrote, which shouldn't be too difficult because it was a 6303 assembler and it's pretty similar, is that it embeds code, the object code, directly into the C program for the Pico. So I can just do an assembly and it's already embedded it, and then recompile the Pico stuff and flash it, and it's done. So that's pretty quick and neat. I'd have to write a separate utility to do that, I think, if I use some other assembler. Don't know, there's plenty of 6502 assemblers. There weren't too many 6303 assemblers, and the only one that would do what I needed would only run on DOS. So I'll have a look at that. I'm not sure which way to go at the moment. And I need to work out the interface to the LCD that I've got. Still haven't done that, so there'll be a bit of soldering there, and working out exactly how to operate that display. Then I need to write the extra code. I need to get in and find the drivers for the LCD that I wrote, and change those to drive the new LCD. Then it's done. Simple. I think I've wired up the new LCD to the 6502. I've take that insulating paper away. So I've put a new connector on here and rewired all the connections. Turns out this is an 8-bit data bus on this LCD. I thought it was SPI for some reason, but it isn't. So it's very similar sort of signals to the old LCD, but slightly different, of course. So I can't just plug it in and get the code going. I'm going to have to write some new code to interface to this LCD. I've got the contrast rewired because this seems to have its own voltage generator. I had a minus 12 volt DC-DC converter here, and I don't need that, but the contrast control should still work, hopefully. And it sort of fits in the box fairly nicely. I'm going to use the original insulating paper that I put in there. It was never a very finished thing, but let's put the lid on. Oh, it's not a bother actually. So I'm running it off what's actually the power supply for one of my Ethernet routers. So if I do that, you can see the backlight comes on, and I've got LCD dots there, and if I poke a screwdriver in there, you can see that the contrast actually changes, so that should be wired up right. So what I've got to do now is write some code for the 6502 to talk to the 6821, I think, whatever that is. I think it's a 6821, which is providing digital outputs and inputs for the switches. There's two buttons up there, and the data bus and control lines for the LCD. So I'm going to put the flash emulator in the ROM socket, that one, and work on the code. So I'm going to have to disassemble the ROM that I pulled out of here because I don't have the source code. And even if I did have the source code, I think I wrote it on an Apple II, but I'm not certain of that. Was it an Apple II? I can't remember. Might have been. So I'm going to have to take the ROM, disassemble it, put it back through an assembler, make sure I can generate the same code that came out of the ROM, and then change it to handle this new interface. So it shouldn't be massively difficult. Just need to change the initialization and the pixel set and clear, maybe XOR, not sure how I did it now. Can't remember. But yeah, change the interface to the LCD. So that might involve writing or modifying an assembler. I don't know whether I'm going to use my assembler or find a tool somewhere else to assemble the code, but yeah, moved on a bit.